Well, Cedric, thank you for having me.
Oh man, thank you for just being able to talk to me and all your wisdom and knowledge too.
Well, I don't know about wisdom and knowledge, but what I'm going to tell you is a true story. It's about Bishop Jean Mard. Bishop Jean Mard was the first native bishop of the Diocese of Lafayette, and he was a very forward-thinking man. Some of the things that I heard about him, I used to wonder why in communities like Vermillionville and my hometown of Acadiana, you had a black and a white church. And I thought, I guess that was because of racism back then. But what I learned was Bishop Jean Mard went to the black community. He said, our black people here are such faithful Catholics. I want to do something for you. What do y'all want? And they said, Bishop, we would like to have our own churches. We go to white churches, we have to sit in the back. We have no say-so. We would like to be able to worship in our own way. So he said, we're going to do it. And the first African-American to be ordained a priest in North America wanted to come to the Diocese of New Orleans.
Okay.
And the bishop there said, we have no need of Negro priests. He didn't want him. Bishop Jean Mard said, I want you. I need you. So he brought him here, and he was always very faithful to your Creole Catholic community. There was, in the town of Erath, there was, I don't know where she was from, but she was a CCD teacher, Catholic instruction, and she tried to integrate her class, and two white women beat her up.
Oh, wow.
Bishop Jean Mard excommunicated them. And he issued a letter to be read at all the churches. The Catholic Church has no room for racism, and the Catholic Church is open to all people, regardless of race, creed. You're welcome here. And that's something that is kind of forgotten in history, but it's important to tell those stories.
Yeah, very, very. And then we know that this was the the racially divided South. We know that Cajun and white French people and everyone in between and black people have more cultural similarities than they are different here in Louisiana. But at the same time, they were living in a society that was legally and everything segregated. So you have some people who would take advantage of those things. And so there was a lot of discrimination. But at the same time, you always had those that had to stand up and show what being Christian and what being just and Christ-like is all about, like this bishop and your father. And
doing the right thing. Daddy had told me that earlier. Old Judge Putnam was a federal judge, and he was in charge of the desegregation cases for this area. And my dad was a school board member elected in 1966. Like I told you, my dad was no bleeding heart liberal. But he wasn't a racist either. Daddy believed in doing the right thing. I'm sitting at the kitchen table, I think May or June of 1967. I'm 9 years old, not quite 10. The phone rings. Daddy has a conversation. He hangs up, he sits down, he looks at me, he goes, holy cow. I said, what's wrong? He said, we were told we had 4 years to desegregate our schools. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal just said we have to be desegregated by September 1st this year, 1967. And I talked to Daddy some about all that. And then after he died, a man who was serving on the school board with Daddy, Silas Cooper from Abbeville, and Judge Putnam shed light on all of that more for me. Daddy called some school board members and said, we need to get together. So they all got together. This is before your blue sky laws and all, it was in private. Said, how are we going to fight this? Daddy said, we're not. What do you mean we're not? This has to end. We wonder why black kids don't go anywhere. They quit school. Well, in my hometown, a black kid can go only up to the 8th grade, and after that he has to take a substandard bus to go to a substandard school in Abbeville High School.
Which is another down the road, minutes away. Not everyone had ways to get there.
No wonder they quit school, and it's wrong. when a black soldier got shot in World War II, he bled red blood just like us. You know, this is wrong. It's time to end it. And so Daddy took a stand, and Vermillion Parish School Board integrated. There were fights and all that, but it went smoother there than elsewhere because they cooperated. And old Judge Putnam was 83 or 84 years old. I took a group of people dove hunting.
Yeah.
Judge Putnam was blind, legally blind. He could see shadows. So I took that old man under some pine trees in my mom's backyard and visited with him all afternoon. I wish I could have recorded that conversation. It was like talking to a living time capsule.
Yeah.
Things he shared. But he told me, he said, you know, wearing that black robe was an honor. I enjoyed being a judge, but sometimes that black robe was heavy.
Yeah.
And it was heaviest during desegregation.
Oh, okay.
He said, they threatened me. Judge Putnam shook your hand, you got on your knees and you cried uncle if you wanted to speak.
Yeah.
He was a big, strong man.
Yeah.
But he said, I'm not scared of anybody. You can threaten me, I'll face you. But don't threaten my wife and don't threaten my kids. But they did. They fought me. The only school district I didn't have to take over was Vermillion because of your father.
Yeah.
I loved your father. He did the right thing.
Yeah.
And you know, that was, I thank my father for doing that. And nobody gave him any lip. And Daddy always told me, you know, you stand up against what's wrong, and all these bullies and all that, they go away. Just like a bully on the school board.
Yeah, eventually they're going to go away.
Were you ever bullied by anybody?
I mean, people tried, but no, I never was really bullied.
I was bullied by a classmate.
See, I grew up with bigger cousins, and I didn't have a big brother. I was the big brother, but I had an older cousin, so I always had to fight and everything, and then you know, neighbors, other kids down the road, so I never really had a sense of what a bully was, you know.
I was bullied by an older classmate, and my dad told me to walk away. My uncle said, don't listen to your dad. Go punch him in the nose. He'll leave you alone.
That'll end it all.
And that was the end of it. That's kind of what you got to do. You got to take a stand against an injustice or wrong. And a lot of times, it'll go away.
And even if it's in a religious setting, a system, you know, like the Catholic Church, for example, as long as you're standing with God, can't no one go against you. And those who do go against you, they're going to fail. Yeah. So when it comes to Jesus, just his word is saying that all of us, everybody, we all have a place in God's kingdom, and to spread the word, not just for Jewish people or not just for white or black people, but for everybody. Yeah. And that's one thing I like about this area here is that I find like culturally everybody's alike, and it has come a long way racially from what I've seen even over 21 years. And I find that also that now where Christianity and Catholicism is having a reawakening, and how the Cajun and Creole culture is having a big reawakening again. Yeah. When you put the two together, the fact that most Cajun people and Creole people are Catholic, that's just another thing to bring them together.
It's something we share.
Yes.
And that's important. You know, working here in Vermillionville like we do, we encounter people from everywhere. More than once, I've had people from way up north tell me, you know, we can talk to you frankly. Yeah, talk to me as frank as you want.
Yeah.
We thought the races would be at each other's throats down here. We went to Buck and Johnny's and everybody's dancing together. I said that wouldn't have happened when I was younger.
It would have never happened years ago.
Today, and I'd like to think that maybe we're showing the rest of the world a better way.
Yeah, isn't it a beautiful thing? You know, just like it took all them years to put it and distill it into generations and generations of people that it was right. Segregation, it was right. White was right and black was back. Yeah. Well, now we know that after trying to push the right subject and push the right messages after generations of that and desegregation, now look at us today. And we got a better thing going. We have more things. What we found is we have culture together more than we had.
We have way more that in common than we do divided.
It's almost like they're trying to hide that from us.
You know, years ago, you just had this feeling in public, and it ran both ways. I remember growing up, I had a black friend, we were real close. He'd be with his black friends, hey, you want to talk to me? And I'd do the same with him, and then one day it's like, this is crazy. You know, it's crazy.
And stop that.
Yeah, I mean, all those Valos and Abigail, that's all my cousins, you know, all related. And it's like, look at what you have in common, not what divides you.
I'm sure when it came to gossip, everybody got along really good. Sat around talking, huh?
Yeah, you know, it's life, and you find out we have way more in common. And even back in the old days, yeah, in town, you lived by those rules, but when you got back to your farm, you and your neighbor might have been black and white, but you were close. You
probably prayed the rosary together, probably drank coffee, probably worked and helped each other butcher hogs, drank whiskey and beer.
Share songs. How many songs, you know, like, what's that song by Lawrence Walker, Il Marché dehors? I heard that by Lawrence Walker. You think that's a Cajun song, but you listen to the Lomax recordings and old Creole was singing.
And you realize, yeah, a lot of those tunes.
So many of those songs, you know, you borrowed from one another. I play the accordion. After you play it, I want to throw it away. But you know, you play.
Some people play it. I want to throw it away myself. Sometimes.
You take a song and you play it your way. I play it my way. But we shared so many things like gumbo. Always use that as an example of how our cultures were all creolized or cross-culturalization, whatever you want to call it. Gumbo is an African word for okra. The African people bought it here. They made a dish out of it. The French added roux, European spices. Native Americans taught us how to eat food here. They gave us filet. Sausage that we use is more German and Spanish. It's not French. So it's a big gumbo.
A lot of the peppers we use too, like red pepper and all that, come from like down in French Guyana, South America, and Africa and stuff. And also, we know that even the music-wise, the music is an image of what the food is like, and what the image of the
it's all
language.
And I mean, who wants to eat mashed potatoes and meatloaf all the time?
Yeah,
it's good. I like it.
It's good eating though,
but you know, I'd rather our food.
Whenever you were growing up, did you come across people more commonly? Was it that people were praying in French back in them days?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about we pray a little bit for the world, for a little bit more l'espérance, which is hope, and then what is it, la foi?
La foi is faith.
Faith.
And l'amour.
And l'amour, the greatest of them all.
C'est trois choses Jésus a nous donné, et le plus grand, c'est l'amour.
Oh ouais, don't get you to leave this one off. Au nom du Père et
du Fils et du Saint-Esprit. Vous voulez prier Notre Père, Sainte Marie?
Oui, Notre Père et trois je vous salue Marie. Et gloire au Père et au Fils.
Nom du Père, du Fils et du Saint-Esprit. Notre Père qui reste aux cieux, que votre nom soit sanctifié, que votre règne arrive, que votre volonté soit faite sur la terre comme au ciel. Donnez-nous aujourd'hui le pain de chaque jour et pardonnez-nous nos péchés. Comme nous pardonnons ceux qui nous ont offensés, mais délivrez-nous du mal, ainsi soit-il. On ne jamais dire Amen ici, on dit comme
ainsi soit-il.
Ainsi soit-il. Je vous salue Marie, pleine de grâce, le Seigneur est avec vous, vous êtes bénie entre toutes les femmes, et Jésus est fruit de vos entrailles béni.
Sainte Marie, Mère de Dieu, priez pour nous pauvres pécheurs, maintenant et à l'heure de notre mort, ainsi soit-il.
Je vous salue Marie, pleine de grâce, le Seigneur est avec vous. Vous êtes bénie entre toutes les femmes, et Jésus est fruit de vos entrailles béni.
Sainte Marie, Mère de Dieu, priez pour nous pauvres pécheurs, maintenant et à l'heure de notre mort, ainsi soit-il.
Je vous salue Marie, pleine de grâce, le Seigneur est avec vous. Vous êtes bénie entre toutes les femmes, et Jésus est fruit de vos entrailles béni.
Sainte Marie, Mère de Dieu, priez pour nous pauvres pécheurs, maintenant et à l'heure de notre mort, ainsi soit-il.
Gloire au Père et au Fils et du Saint-Esprit.
Comme il était au commencement, à cette heure, toujours dans les siècles des siècles.
Ainsi soit-il.
Ainsi soit-il.
Ô mon Jésus, pardonnez-nous nos péchés, sauvez-nous des flammes d'enfer et conduisez toutes les âmes au ciel, spécialement qui ont le plus besoin de votre miséricorde. Ainsi soit-il.
Ainsi soit-il.
Père, Fils et du Saint-Esprit.
Ah ouais, ça c'était bien, merci, man.
Oh, c'est mon plaisir.
Ah ouais, c'était bon pour causer avec toi.
C'est
good history. Yeah.
We used to have an old Catholic priest in my hometown. He would have gotten and well, you talk about a character.
Oh yeah.
He followed his own rules. Il allait dans les bars quand les Cajun Creole jouaient aux cartes, gagnait l'argent. Père Garneau a passé la main. Il dit, c'est pour l'église. Donc, quelqu'un a acheté une bière, il donnait le bormé de 10 piastres, il donnait le change, il dit, c'est pour l'église.
C'est juste comme ça, hein?
Et, beaucoup d'histoires. Une fois, une jeune fille se mariait avec un Boréen. Il a quitté sa femme en famille. La religion, la foi était importante pour cette famille. Il visitait avec Père Garneau pour demander pour un annullement. Père Sigueur était un jeune prêtre. La première paroisse, c'était au Guédon. Et Père Garneau a demandé pourquoi tu crois que tu mérites un annullement. Il expliquait la situation. Il dit, Père Sigueur va chercher le livre pour le mariage. Il ouvrait, il a écrit annulé.
Juste comme ça.
Après, ils sont partis.
Juste comme ça,
Père Sigueur a dit,
c'est tout.
avec tout le respect, tu ne peux pas faire ça, Père Sigueur. Il faut pour aller au Rome.
Ouais.
Sigueur, t'es jeune. Quand tu crois un peuple italien au Rome connaît mes petits Cajun à Guédon.
Ouais, bien sûr, il a dit ça. Hein? Wow.